Kenya Federation president seat, Sholei says he will be seeking to right the wrongs done by the current federation in a bid to steer Kenyan football to a better place.
Out a press release on the protection of the sports tribunal, sports and disputes tribunal. Why did you issue this press release, and why is it important for the protection of the sports and disputes tribunal?
First of all, I would like to thank you for reaching out to us so that we can also discuss, what has been ailing Kenya football for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I decided to, to do the press release today is, if you go back to the years, we've been having a lot of, quarrels and push and pull in Kenya football. And this has basically been orchestrated by, the very, I would say selfish football stakeholders who want to go into that office for their personal gain. If you remember back in the days, we used to have two federations. There was KFL and KFF.
Mm-hmm.
One was which was official. It was being run by Mohamed Atimi, and then there was KFF, which was run by Sam Nyamweya. And you see now, there was we wasted about 2 or more years just fighting. So I think someone just decided to sit down, and I think it was the sports minister. If I remember very well, it was Mr. Otuoma, because there was a lot of arbitration that was not able to bring the two, warring groups together.
Mm-hmm.
So then Otuoma decided that let us create an arbitration, body that can be handling this, these proposals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that is basically why, sports dispute, body was formed. And since then, since the body came in place, there's been a lot of quietness, a lot of, fights have been resolved. And, all of a sudden now, someone now wants to push SDT out of, handling sports matters. And I thought, it's not fair. It's not fair because it is not good for the growing sports.
Mm-hmm.
And for the growing football. Actually, in general, sportsmen and women that would want, to prosper in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I said no. This can't happen. We have to respect the arm of the law, which is a sister to the government. And that is the reason why I decided to do the statement.
Mm-hmm. A few weeks ago, Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa came out saying that, to some extent, the SDT is, or rather the members of the SDT are trying to play politics. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so, because, I don't think SDT has any interest in football, because if they did, then why should they sit on other federations' matters? Why should they can't be arbitrating problems that are being faced by rugby and the other sports, hockey, badminton, and all that. Football is a very popular sport in the whole world, and if you list the number of sports that are there in this whole world, I'm very sure that football is among the top 3, if not number 1, then number 2. And the following that football has in the whole world is immense. It's very big. That is basically the reason why you see there is a lot of filing of football cases at SDT. It is not that SDT is leaning on towards football and like they have an interest. Mm-hmm. No, a lot of people, out of 10, I would tell you 7 people have interest in football, unlike basketball and the other games. Because if you ask me to go and listen into a hockey case,
mm-hmm.
I would not understand. I'll never understand what is going on. If you tell me to go and sit in the court and listen to the arbitration on say hockey, I would be wasting my time because my interest is not there. But when it comes to football, you'll find that we have 7 out of 10 people who are interested in the matters of football.
When you take a look at the press release that you gave, you said that, FKF is trying to, derail or curtail what the SDT is trying to do. That is by filing 3 different cases in different places in the country, just
in the country, yes, 3.
Yeah, to derail this whole process. Why? You mentioned that FKF is going to do this, but how sure are you it's FKF that is doing this?
Just look at the connection of the people that have filed the case.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the connection between them and the current office.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just go directly. Look at the connection between the people that have filed and Nick Mwendwa.
Mm-hmm.
They are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go to Kericho, the person that has filed the case is,
yes.
I think, is the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman of FKF on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And on this other side, it's the same person. In Mombasa, the same people. It's a group of people. If you do your investigation, you'll definitely find a link between the persons that have filed the case and Nick Mwendwa.
Mm-hmm.
So it is again that we saw happening when we were at the federation, because Nyamoya used to do this, and you see now Nick Mwendwa has picked it very well from our father. Mm-hmm. And that reminds me, the person that started taking football matters to court is Sam Nyamoya. Mm-hmm. And is the first one that is complaining today about Nick going to the court. Mm-hmm. We learned it from Nyamoya. And the reason, again, that I decided to do the statement is that, I mean, if we start going back to the court, then we are going to derail our football, development in this country for so many years. We've had, I think we've wasted more than 10 years just fighting. Forget about developing football, mm-hmm. the fight. Because if Mwendwa goes in, then the other group starts fighting Nick Mwendwa because they feel that they're the best to run football in this country. Some have been given an opportunity. They were there before. And, just because they are not, development minded, they dropped our football standard into a ditch. Uh-huh. And this is why we kept on fighting. And I've been fighting because I have been there. I've been a Nyamoya player, and when I went in under Nyamoya, everyone was very happy because now they realized, okay, now if a football player is going to be among the football administrators in this country, then the problems are going to be resolved because they are going to use the experience of this former football player, to tackle problems. But unfortunately, when I went in, everyone else had a different agenda. For being at the federation. Mm-hmm. So many of them want to enrich themselves, and they have done so. If we go to their accounts, come to my account, and see a few things that I've bought or what I own. There, I can account for every single thing that I own. But bring the other people that have been in the federation, and then let us go back to 4 or 5 years before they went into the federation. Look at their accounts, their transactions and all that, and the connection they've had through football. You'll find that these people, probably they've moved from one house to a bigger house in a poshy area, and that explains where they're getting their money from. So the interest of the people that are there right now, and some that want to go back into that federation is not genuine.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's direction in Kenyan football?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because every football chairman and every football president that has gone into that office has always been promising that in the next World Cup we are going to be there. Mm-hmm. Apart from East and Central, we've never made a second step to the other competition. The farthest we've gone is Eastern Central. Of course, we've done very well within Eastern Central. When it comes to international matches, I can't remember any time that we've gone beyond second round, apart from back in the days when Francis Kimanzi was the coach and Harambee Stars was being handled by KPL. That was, I remember very well that, I mean, our standards really went high. But right now, look at the sponsors. All of them have disappeared. Why? Because of football wrangles. KPL was doing very well before. I mean, in the back years, and you know, all of a sudden now they are struggling because sponsors do not want to associate with Kenya football at all. Reason being that I think FKF are very jealous when the corporate looking KPL is getting more sponsorship than FKF. And the reason why KPL have been getting good sponsors from out there is because of integrity. A shilling comes in, a shilling goes out. All of the money that goes out is accounted for, unlike FKF.
So, do you still want to vie for the top post?
I am going for it. I'm going for it to the end. It is up to Kenyans to decide what they want for Kenya football. It is up to our football stakeholders, because trust me, where all Kenya football stakeholders are seated today, if you line up Sami Sholei, you line up Nick Mwendwa, Sam Nyamoya, Herbert Monchiro, and Nicholas Musonye, I'm telling you today, they know who is the best person for that position. They know, even as we sit here today, they know who is the person that has the interest of football stakeholders and football players in this country. But because of the economy of this country and Africa, and I think the world as a whole right now, we have people that have stolen money out there, and they will go out there and buy votes. And this is the reason why we are also fighting that we get a level playing ground. Because if you tell me that we are going to use the delegates mode of election, then it's a no. For me, it's a completely no. And the way the elections have been structured, they have been structured in such a way that sub-branch elections are done, and then national elections are done, and then now we go back to sub-branch. Why are we leaving sub-branch? Where do you start from? When you're growing up, you start from a small kid. So the elections have to start, they have to begin from sub-branch, and that is where the current FKF is worried. Because they know if they start the elections from the sub-branch, all the FKF current cartels will be beaten hands down. And that is why they decided to change the pyramid. They start from a totally strange zone. So and I would really like to take this opportunity to use this chance to ask our honorable CS, Mama Amina, to be very tough. If we can go back and run the elections like the one that was done in 2011, everyone will be happy. Because I remember all the clubs that were registered, and we used three officials of each club to vote. That was the chairman, treasurer, and secretary from every club. I was discussing with some friend of mine just the other day, and he was asking, why can't we give the football players an opportunity to also vote? Because they are the people that are suffering. So in every club, choose 3 players. It is the same thing as the other one. So only this way we will get the best candidates for the position.
And of course, before, as of course, as we finish, what will you do different if you are elected? What will be different?
If I'm elected, if I'm elected, number one, it is the federation's responsibility to make sure that football is played at the grassroots level.
Mm-hmm.
It will be my responsibility to make sure that, you know, all primary schools in this country, you know, become members of the federation, and in return we'll be their sponsors in terms of, you know, kits. And you know, a lot of primary schools would only need a football, you know. Another different thing that I do is, you know, I'll respect the government. You know, the government is our number one corporate sponsor. You know, if you start fighting the government and you're using their facilities in the whole country, you know, it doesn't make sense. I'll make sure that I work with the Ministry of Education so that we create opportunities for retired players to go into primary schools as football coaches and as physical education coaches. You know, from standard 1 up to class 8. You know, there's usually that break of physical fitness. The kids are supposed to go out there and, you know, stretch themselves up. We'll take advantage of that to get these old former football players employed by primary schools as PE, you know, technicians. We will have created employment for these guys, and we will take advantage of them being the coaches of these primary schools to get us the best players of those primary schools. And then now we can get youth players from primary schools, from under 12, under 14, 16, up to, and this will trickle up to secondary schools. The other thing is, you know, accountability, which is very important. Any money that comes in, I'll make sure that it is posted there. Any meeting that we do to decide how we are going to use the funds of the federation, the media must be there. It will be an open meeting. You come there, sit there, we discuss, take your notes, and then as soon as we have disbursed the money to the project that is supposed to be accomplished, you can do your follow-up as a media guy, because you are in that meeting that decided that 2 million shillings will go towards this project. You will go there and just there's a lot that needs to be done apart from talking about World Cup. You know, and our structures are actually rotten.